Okay, we'll start with very simple gravity reference to get your proprioception on, and then we're going to go into developing a neutral feeling in the body or a calm resource state in the body. So start by simply taking a deep breath in, holding it for a moment, and pulling your belly button towards your spine, pushing the air up into your chest, and then breathing out. Pull the belly button in, and then as you breathe out, notice gravity pulling you down, and then notice what's tight that doesn't need to be. See if you can move it around a little, work with it. Whether or not it relaxes, just see if you can work with it, and then do the same thing again. Pull the belly button in with a full breath, and then notice what's tight as you feel the gravity, and then feel your response to it. Move around. See if you can make room for flow inside of you by relaxing some of the tense parts. And then we'll move on. I want you to find a place in your body that feels neutral or calm, generally stable. Figure out which part of you seems to feel the most stable, whether it's a big portion of your body. Like, for example, someone might say, oh, both my legs feel really stable. Or whether it's a calm or a small portion of your body. Like some people might say, I have this small place in my belly that feels calm. Or if they're in a lot of turmoil, they might say, well, I can definitely trust my earlobe to be neutral feeling right now, or something really small like a toenail. Either way, just find a place in your body that feels especially stable or calm. And as you do so, I'm going to invite you to breathe fairly deep and fairly slow. You breathe in, you breathe out slow. The breath in might be a little quicker, and the breath out might be a little longer. And keep turning attention back to that place that feels generally stable. If it's still feeling stable, I'm going to invite you to feel how deep beneath the skin it seems to be stable. If it's a feeling that you can directly tell that it's in the body, just where it is in the body and the shape of it. If it doesn't quite seem to be exactly in your body, that's okay. Just notice where you seem to feel it. Notice its shape, how deep it is, how wide it is, and what happens because you're continuing to turn your attention into it. Go ahead and focus on it intently. There's a certain amount of focus or intensity of focus that brings sort of a potent result. So keep breathing in deep, breathing out slow, and turning attention into that neutral zone. In a moment, we're going to do something to develop it. Okay, I'm going to invite you to give that feeling a color. If one didn't already come to mind when you thought of it and when you found it, just guess at it, give it a color, whatever color seems to fit how it feels. And then notice again how deep beneath the skin it seems to reach, the shape of it, if you will. And notice where it ends. There's a place where it's present and a place where it gets shut off or where it ends. If it isn't already changing on its own, what I'm going to invite you to do is nudge it in your mind to sort of reach into other parts of you. Notice whether it can expand at all. And if it can't, just notice if it can reach around the sort of blocked zones to go into other parts of you without a lot of effort. And notice what happens because you're doing this. A lot of times the stress products that have been building up in your body start processing. Places that were already tense might intensify for a bit. You might have a bit of raise in heart rate and then a calming or release, and then another raise in heart rate and a calming and release. Sometimes some tension and tightness, and then some interesting feelings like tingling or warmth, or some shivering or wobbling inside. That's fine. That's just how the your autonomic nervous system is discharging built up stress. And if for any reason it gets overwhelming, just stop the exercise. But as long as you can tolerate it, stay curious. Notice whether you can feel it going from tension to activation to release, or whether something else happens. Keep breathing, turning your attention back to your experience inside the body. And if that visual image of the color has been able to develop, whether it's expanding or if it started getting closed in by the stress products that are trying to release, uh, just notice that, stay with that, get curious as to what will happen next. And when your mind wanders, that's okay. Just keep on wandering back. Sometimes some of our protective mechanisms will distract us. We'll suddenly lose focus. And that's a protection on the inside. We want to recognize that it's not an enemy, it's just a part of you trying to help. And so you'll just keep coming back and letting it push you out again. Or notice if there's some sort of a cooperation that starts to come because you're continuing to come back. Continue to breathe. Continue to turn your attention back to the sensations inside. And notice whether that color that you found in that place, wherever it was that was feeling more stable, if you're able to keep expanding it into places where it was able to reach into, even if it has to go around the blocked zones, the parts that are all tense and protected. This is a simple exercise in resource state expansion. You find that neutral or stable resource state somewhere inside of you. And the word we can use for this color exercises, we can call it visual kinesthetic expansion. We give it a color. We invite it to reach into other areas, like we're pushing it a little with our mind. And then as it starts to change, whether it shrinks in with the stress trying to process or whether it does expand, just notice what that does for your body. Notice what that does for your feelings. And if stress product is starting to release, if your body's starting to process things effectively, you're going to feel some tingles or some wobbles or some shivers or some warmth or hot cold fluctuations. And I hope you enjoyed this exercise.